Hello, my name is Greg Bull. I'm a technical advisor here at West System Epoxy. This is the 8th installment of the Sail Magazine Epoxy Basics videos. I'm going to be talking about doing core replacement around the chain plates on our lovely J22. What we're going to be doing is cutting out the inner laminate, scrape out the old coring, and then we'll want to go back in and put new coring in, and then put a new laminate back over the top of it. You want to try to get the laminate to be the same thickness as what you cut out. In this case, I'm able to use 2 layers of biaxial cloth. You may have to use more layers if you want to use a thinner cloth, like a 6-ounce or a 9-ounce cloth. Here we are inside the boat. I have marked out with a black magic marker where I'm going to be cutting out the inner laminate. One of the reasons we're doing it from the inside of the boat is to preserve the non-skid or the cosmetics on the outside of the boat. This way we won't have to go back and do any gel coating or anything like that. I'm going to use some safety protection here. I'm going to put a dust mask on, clip here, and I'm going to use some ear protection. And I'm going to use a vibrating multi-tool to do my cutting with. I finished cutting out my inner laminate. You can see by this piece I've taken down, where the darkness is where the bad coring was. It was wet and rotten. And you can also see up in here now where I've removed a little bit. A lot of this fell out when I removed that inner laminate. And there's a lot of just loose stuff that'll flake off and come down with it, everything. So now it's just to remove it, I'm taking a chisel and just working my way along. I've got a couple kerfs that are cut in, one here, one up here, where I can actually work in and get some of the coring to come down. I have cleaned out all the bad core. I've kind of straightened up my edges. I've mixed up a little bit of epoxy. Epoxy I'm using is 105-205 with a little bit of 406, our colloidal silica. And we just got to put some thickened epoxy up here for our coring to bond onto. All right. Okay, just filling in all my little corners and edges. And finally my last big piece. I'm gonna push this up in there, and I can see a little bit of a epoxy sliding out all the way around it. And I do have a couple little gaps here that I will have to put a little bit of more thick epoxy into. The big thing is to just fill in all the gaps. If you've got some gaps, I mean, you can see that I don't have a real perfect fit per se. And if you're going to go ahead and glass like I'm going to here shortly, you can go ahead and fill in any little kerf marks or anything else that you have on here with any of your excess thickened epoxy. Okay, I'm going to take a squeegee and just kind of go back over the areas that I've kind of applied some thickened epoxy just to make sure they're all kind of smoothed down. And now I should be ready for my glass. Okay, we've stepped out of the boat for a moment to wet out our new inner laminate. I'm mixing up some 105 resin with our 206 hardener to give me a little bit more time working with it. So we're wetting it out here. And then from here we're going to step back up in the boat and apply it. And I actually have 2 layers of glass on here. I've got a larger area that you saw me kind of coating out outside of the boat, and then I put a smaller layer inside of that. So I've got kind of a little bit of a step taper going on. And then you just have to kind of work it up in here. And as you can see, it kind of moves around, falls down on you. You just have to kind of work with it for a moment. Kind of smooth it in place with the best tools you have, or your fingers and your hands. Kind of smooth it all down. And that'll kind of finish up the coring repair, then you can always go back with your trusty squeegee. Usually if you're using a squeegee, start down the middle and work out to the edges. You'll hear a little popping sound as you're kind of using the squeegee or even your hands, and that's the air you're working out of your new glass you're putting down. Now that we've got our glass in here, I think this is just about it. Looks like the deck is just about as good as new or better, and we'll be ready for our bulkhead.